Hello everyone and welcome back to another DrAce video. Today I am going to show you how to get the best possible sector times within the circuits of Buddh International here in the MotoGP Academy game mode. We're using Fabio Di Gianantonio on the Ducati. So first things first, then take a look on the right hand side of your screen. You will see my controller overlay, and any buttons and combinations you're not sure of, check in the description down below. So without further ado, let's go into the final corner and prepare ourselves for the start and finish straight to ensure that we have the right speed. So first things first, for this very first corner, my goal here is to brake just as you get close to reaching the rev limiter on 5th gear. I find that works out very well. It's a difficult spot to get right into that first braking zone, but I always find that if I've got good acceleration out of that corner, I'm able to then stop, providing I don't reach the 6th gear. So now out of turn 3, you are going to downshift to 1st gear here and then get onto the power gradually with the ride height device enabled. Keep the motorcycle flat to the floor and get onto the power to hopefully achieve the objective of gold. Not that time, but I'm sure we can get it this time around. So as I was saying, prepare for the final corner. Just change your electronics as you do and then get into the left hand side. So nice and tight to the apex of turn 13, hit your ride height device and then bring on the power, trying to feather it a little bit just so it doesn't wheelie too much. And as we look over to the left hand side here, just where that rumble strip is, well before it, bike screaming its head off in 5th gear, then start to brake just before that. I think it's more or less on line with the pit lane exit into the first corner. So now into the right hand side, braking quite gently and a bit wider to turn into turn 3 to allow you to pick up that speed and that momentum to charge over into the long straight. And I think this time it should be good enough for a gold sector across the sectored line. Yes, it's gold. So now for sector 2, it does start you back from quite a while back here in sector 2. So prepare yourself into this corner again. Sort all your electronics out. Nice sweeping line into turn 3. 1st gear, bring on your power. I left it a little bit late to turn in there, so I did get caught up onto the curb. But as long as you don't get onto the curb there, you should be okay with the terms of top end speed for this long straight. Past the sector time there and then start braking right there on the left hand side of your screen. There is a little bit of a grass patch that has not got much grass on it. That is exactly where I brake every single time for that corner there. Now onto the left hand side, you want to be braking just before you reach the rumble strip on your right hander, and then you're able to turn into the double apex left hander onto the power. Position yourself over to the left hand side. Now brake on an angle, trail brake into turn 6, quickly change the direction, really abusing the curb there for turn 7 and across the line to actually miss out by 1,000th of a second on that sector. But I'm sure we'll get it on sector 2 like we did in the first split. So here we go then, into the right hander again then. Lean in as much as you can. Downshift to 1st, hit the ride height device, line up the motorcycle. Bit of a wheelie, but it should be okay in terms of speed for this straight, so just keep on charging down. As I say, look over to the left hand side of your screen. It's where my eyes are going now. Left hand side, bang, right there. You'll see it. There's a big piece of grass that is completely removed and the soil is basically just showing. That is exactly where I brake every time for that corner, and it works every single time as well. So brake before you get to that rumble strip there on the right hand side, turn into the left. You can run it a bit wide here, so don't worry if you go a little bit too deep. And now into the left hand side, touch the curb and then lean in, using a lot of trail brake in there. Turn in nice and early. Make sure the analog stick is moved earlier than you think to get the left hander on the change of direction. So now the autopilot is going to take over until the exit of turn 5. So as we get onto the power here, the AI is going to push you over to the left hand side, start trail braking into the right hand of 6, turn in early for 7, had a bit of a wheelie there but don't worry about it too much, caught on the curb as well. Brake on an angle here, trail braking to about 50%, remove the brake and then start letting the bike turn in itself and then get onto the power. But be really gently, because if you run it too wide, you'll exceed track limits and your lap time will be invalidated. Really abuse the curb here for turn 10 because that puts you in a good stead for turn 11. Onto the power and hopefully across the line for a goal. Not quite. So we're going to be doing that once more to get the goal. So again, wait for the ride height, autopilot to complete. Then position yourself over to the left hand side here to touch near that curb. lean in, touch the curb again, lean in again for the left-hand side for 7. Now onto the power. Try and straighten that bike up immediately. Brake on an angle here, nice and early into turn 8. Really follow the lines of the circuit. Get into the berm of this massive Shell Oils variant, and then into the right-hander for the next part here. Then now into the left-hand side for turn 10. A little bit too early upon the brakes, but it's okay. Managed to save it into the tight apex of turn 11, and across the line to this time achieve gold. So the autopilot once again is going to start quite far back, so if you're not quite happy with your performance in the other parts of the sectors, watch the autopilot and see what you can pick up from our artificial intelligence. So now into turn 10 and turn 11, this is pretty much where we're going to be starting off from where we were on the last point. And that shadow there's a huge shadow from the signage above you. That works for me every single time as a braking reference. And here, the rumble strip on the right hand side. Right when that starts, prepare yourself for the braking, turn in tight to the apex of 13, onto the power, but try and keep that front wheel down. I know it's easier said than done in MotoGP 24, but it can be done. And that right there is a gold sector time. So here into the autopilot once more, you're going to take over just before you get to turn 10. So as it wheelies here, you can start braking just at that shadow, bring yourself into the tight apex of turn 10, and then prepare yourself for this part here, because if you don't get turn 11 right, you might not have the speed. But there is a Petronas sign, brake right there, and really lean in. Unfortunately, I went a little bit too wide there, but as you get onto the power, be careful not to exceed track limits. Brake just where that rumble strip is there, really late on the brakes here, tight apex as well, power on. You can run it a little bit deep there, the wheelie caught me out there, unfortunately I'm pushed over to the right hand side, but this should be good enough nonetheless. Oh, in fact it wasn't, it was actually silver. So this time it is going to be the complete lap of the Buddh International Circuit. We're going to do at least 2 laps around the circuit, so I can give you a full description of this terrific circuit. So nice and wide into turn 13 was not actually what I was intending, but we'll test it anyway for the purpose of results. And onto the power then. So prepare yourselves, brake right there in the middle between the finish line and that curb. As I say, best way to remember that for me is when that 5th gear starts screaming, it's begging to be upshifted to 6, that's when you pull the brake. Now into the right hand for turn 12, beautiful tight apex this time around, a bit aggressive on the throttle, you've seen the rear tyre beginning to spin, but it should be fine for this straight here. Of course guys, if you are enjoying the video, don't forget to subscribe, as we now charge onto the speed, onto the left hand side, there is that patch of soil, start braking in, nice and aggressively, nice and firm, turning in, reducing the brake as we trail brake into turn 4, and that allows us now to get onto the power. Brake just as you get close towards the curb there, but a little bit earlier than actually hitting the curbs, otherwise you'll be way too late. And as you now go onto the power, move over to the left hand side, allow the GP23 Ducati to swing into turn 6, swing back out into turn 7, and then almost touching the curbs on the right hand side. So braking a little bit wider this time around, it wasn't quite as smooth as we were on the previous time we attempted this particular sector. But now onto the power, trying to avoid running off the circuit. Brake just at the shadow there for the left-hander for turn 10. Keep it in nice and tight, prepare yourself. See, we've gone a bit wide there, so we were a bit deep and a bit tight into the apex of turn 11, so we lost a bit of momentum on the ride up to turn 12. But now onto the power. Ooh, avoid the wheelie as much as you can, brake right there at the rumble strip, and turn in to the apex of turn 13. A little bit wide, but as we get onto the power, feathering that throttle, this should be good enough for a gold lap time. Across the line, it is gold. So let's see this one more time. Of course, we're coming back from the autopilot into the final couple of corners. I'll sort my electronics out, and away we go. Tight to the apex, ride height device enabled, trying to fight the bike from wheeling. As you know, it's pretty much impossible here in MotoGP 24, but here we go, bike screaming, start braking. Really firm, going into turn 1, nice and tight to the apex, abusing the curb on the apex, and now into left-hand side for turn 2. Prepare yourself to hit the curb there and start braking just as you get to that curb. Nice and calm, nice and collected into turn 3, and then back onto the power. Not bad so far, looks a little bit sketchy going onto that curb there, because it does impede your progress in terms of speed, but we do already have the gold nonetheless. So there's that patch of soil, start braking. Look how aggressive you can be with the brakes in this particular corner. Trail braking all the way into turn 4, ride height device enabled, much better in the terms of acceleration as well, actually. And we now brake just before we go into the left-hander for turn 5, tight to the apex. A little bit too tight this time around. I think the wide approach probably works out a little bit better. We're now into turn 6 and then into turn 7. Beautiful change direction. I'm moving that rider's way early, remember. You can't leave it to the last second for someone to move a 200 kilogram bike just like that. Can't be done. You've got to make sure the rider is turning in early and preparing before that corner begins. A bit wide there for turn 10, but we are able to bring it back up on the brakes. Now this is a lovely tight apex for turn 11 here. Look how much speed we got on the drive going up the hill into turn 12, and now into the downhill part. We've got that momentum, we've got that speed, ready to prepare ourselves for the brakes here for the final corner. Beautifully done, using a lot of rear brake there as well. Ride height device enabled. Getting caught on the curb there is not too bad because you can straighten the bike up, turn it in, and across the lap time line again for another gold lap time. So guys, that's it from me. Thank you very much for watching this video. I certainly hope it helped. If it did, let me know in the comments section down below, and make sure to subscribe for more DrAce content. I'll see you in the next video tomorrow. Ciao for now.
Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite set your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.